Best of the rest now from week 16 in La Liga. So it's we've done the top four. Looked at their possibilities for this weekend. I've gone for 3 wins. I didn't really give a prediction on the Alaves Real Madrid one. I bottled it. It's going to be a tough one for Real Madrid. I'm going to play safe, go for a Real Madrid narrow victory. But I'm not convinced. There you go. I had 1 week where I predicted all 10. I thought this prediction, is easy stuff. It's been a mixed bag since then, so take my advice how you feel. Here an analyst de la Liga. So best of the rest. Friday we start. Quick one, Real Sociedad in Girona, in case you're watching this after the game has been played. Real Sociedad were unlucky to lose at Alaves last week. For a change, they did create loads of chances, much more than Alaves created, but lost 1-0. So that was a blow to them. Girona are a basket case again. We had this at the start of the season. It looks like they've gone back to it. The common element is Paulo Gazzaniga. He's a really good goalkeeper. He serves Girona well, but when he has a bad game, he does have a bad game. So he threw 2 in last week, which meant they lost that game against Elche. So that was a disappointment. Can Girona bounce back with a win at Real Sociedad? 3 or 4 games before that defeat last week, Girona were looking quite good. One of those was a draw against Real Madrid. Can they get the win in this one? I think I'm going to go for Real Sociedad win in this one, so I'm going to go for home victory for Real Sociedad. Mallorca against Elche is on Saturday. Mallorca really disappointed me last week. I did the game away from home against Oviedo on Friday evening. Lacked attacking ambition against a team that only has scored 7 goals this season. Against the team that have only scored in 4 matches. And Mallorca went there to play appeared to play for a 0-0 draw. Vedat Marici got man of the match, just about. I don't know who gave him it. And it was a lone striker's role, isolated from the rest of his team. No service, no support. He worked his socks off, which he always does. We know he does. Chase the channels, close people down. His interview after the game, there was a hint of disappointment in his comments and in his body language that suggested he was disappointed that his team didn't go and play there with a more forthright attitude against a team who don't score goals. So Arrasati appeared to be pleased with a 0-0 draw away from home against Oviedo. So against Elche, I think Elche, if Mallorca are at it, they're a decent team. They've got good players. They've got a good squad. It's not a massive squad, but they've got good players. I just want to see them be more expansive. Elche will be. So I'm going to go for an away win in this one. I really like what Elche do. I think Eddie Sarabi is having a fabulous season. His team look like they're enjoying it. They're having fun. They're enjoying the fact they're in 9th position with 19 points. Cracking on nicely. So the pressure's off on this one. And they'll go there and they'll play. They'll get out the back, they're playing to midfield, they get the ball into the front players, of which there's often 2 centre forwards playing. So I'm going to go for an away win for Elche. Getafe against Espanyol. Getafe got beat last week by Villarreal 2-0. No shame in that. They're 8th. They've got 20 points. Luis Milla is suspended. The most ridiculous sending off I've ever seen last week. So they're playing against a Espanyol team. Now they've got to play Espanyol, who are currently lying 5th on 27 points. They're probably 10, 11 points away from maintaining another season in La Liga. And at the start of the season, that would have been their ambition. But they've gone above Betis. 27 points. Good win against Rayo Vallecano last week. Tyrese Dolan is suspended. That's a blow because he's been fantastic this week. I don't know if you've seen too much of him. The former Blackburn player, young English winger, has been absolutely fabulous. So Getafe will play against Espanyol this week. Give them the respect they deserve, and they'll play against Espanyol just like they're facing Real Madrid, Barcelona, Villarreal, Atletico. So I'm going to go for a draw in this one. And I think it's going to be low scoring draw, so maybe a 1-1, something like that. Sevilla play Oviedo on Sunday. Sevilla outplayed Valencia last week for much of the game, but they haven't got anyone that scores a goals. Aiko Adams doesn't look like he's got too many goals in him. I think Isaac Romero might be back from suspension in this one. Neither, in my opinion, are the quality of a striker that Sevilla should be looking for. It seems it's a mystery that we've gone from Fabiano and Canuti and some of those other strikers, and we've ended up with Aiko Adams and Isaac Romero, who will do well to get. Neither of them will get 10 goals this season. So Sevilla played really well, but they've got no one to score. They're playing against Oviedo, as I said, scored in 4 games this season. This is week 16. They've only scored in 4 of them. No Santi Cazorla, who's suspended because of the red card last week. No Viñas, who looks to be a decent player, to be honest, and I think they should be playing in a more central role. Maybe alongside Rondon. So this is a really tough one to call. I'm going to put my neck on the block here and go for a 0-0. Either team have got a goal in them, unless it's from a free kick, a set piece. I'm going to go for a 0-0 in this one. So Sevilla, they need goals. They need someone that can score goals. Lots of injuries again. And Oviedo, like Levante, every time I see them, they're not rubbish. They're not really bad, but they just lack that massive factor of a goal scorer. So I'm going to go for a 0-0 in that one. Celta then face Athletic. Would have win for last week for Celta against Real Madrid. Then they lose to Bologna at home in the Europa League. They're not doing bad in that tournament, but that's a blow. They were 1-0 up. Brian Zaragoza scored, and then they lose 2-1. They're playing Athletic, who had a great draw against PSG. Didn't have a shot on target. Very little possession. But at Athletic Club know how to defend. They know how to fight. It was a big game. It's kept them alive in that tournament. They beat Atleti last week 1-0, so it's 2 clean sheets on the trot against Atletico Madrid, against PSG. Similar story to some of the other teams. Have they got a centre forward that can get 15 goals? At the moment, no, they haven't. They rely heavily on Nico. I'm going to go for another draw in this one. I'm going to go for 1-1 in this one. That was the scoreline that we saw many times from Celta at the start of the season. Monday night, Rayo against Betis. Rayo need to start doing better. Doing all right and going well in the European Conference League. 12th, 17 points. I think they're probably 4 or 5 points away from where I thought they would be. Will they get them against Betis? Lost to Barcelona last week, 5-3. They've qualified now for the knockout stages in the Europa League, which is great. Good to see Betis attack that competition with real purpose. The hard work's done. 2 games to go. They can start rotating in those games now, so that suits them in the league. But they have dropped behind Espanyol, so they need the points. Rayo need the points. I'm going to go for an away win in this one. I'm going to go for Betis, soak up the pressure and play on the counter-attack. Hopefully we see Isco back. But I think Betis just a shade this one. So the problems still continue for Rayo in La Liga. So hopefully that's giving you a little appetite for the weekend's action. As I say, just one more week before the Christmas break. There is a Copa del Rey round of fixtures in the midweek. Thankfully, we can now watch that in the UK. Hopefully, you can watch it wherever you're watching this clip. So it's something to look forward to midweek. You get the essence of the Copa del Rey when the big clubs are playing away from home against lower league opposition. Weird stadiums, AstroTurf pitches, five-a-side pitches marked out on the main pitch. All that stuff that we've seen pictures of in the past, we can watch live now. And then we're back again next week, as I say, for the last round before Christmas. And then a week off, and then we look into La Liga and the Super Cup again. So join me later on in the week. Put some stuff up. And don't forget to subscribe on Analista de la Liga with me, Terry Gibson. I appreciate you watching. Please give us feedback, give us the comments. Let us know your opinion on the games, your predictions, all that stuff. More than welcome. So join me soon.